Welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Michelle Byer from Share the Warmth. Happy 1 week before Christmas, by the way. If you haven't started doing anything, now would be a good time to hop to it because it's going to be here. And on Christmas Eve Day, you are planning an amazing Christmas Eve Day dinner served what time at the Salvation Army?
Between 12 and 3.
Okay, noon to 3.
And it's going to be amazing.
It is.
And you know what? I did not say this earlier. I guess I'm saving the best for last.
Okay, cool.
Santa's coming. And we have a gift for every child that walks in there. Yes, the Continuum of Care, which I know nobody knows what that is, but they oversee all of the housing for homeless. They pretty much tell everybody what to do. And Melissa Terrell is an amazing young lady, and she has gotten together with a couple other, but I think she's one of the main ones that have purchased. There's 200 toys coming, you know, and so every child will be getting a gift because we don't have 200 kids that usually walk through the door.
Right.
So these children are going to get amazing
Everybody gets
gifts.
a toy.
And just think about how many children don't even know, you know, I'm sure they hear about a Santa Claus, but they really don't know what a Santa Claus is. And so that in itself, that's a blessing. That's really nice.
Michelle, when you are talking about the homeless, it's heartbreaking across the board, but the most heartbreaking part of that is the children because they make up such a large percentage of our area's homeless, and they have done absolutely nothing, made no choices to get to that point.
Right.
And a lot of people are homeless because, my goodness, there could be a fire. Often there, but for the grace of God go I. Anybody could get hit with something, an illness that wipes out your savings, any kind of thing can mean this kind of poverty could sweep up on just about anyone when you think about it. And not everybody is in that position because they've made some decisions that were not wise and got them into that part. It really can happen to just about anybody.
Divorce.
Yes, exactly. When you're talking about a child who's done nothing, that breaks your heart, doesn't it?
Yes. You know, and to see these children, you know, it breaks your heart just to see them. You know, I've seen them walk in just to where I work with their parents. And
at ICANN Housing.
You know, it does break my heart. You know, they come in and, you know, we're always getting clothes for them and just doing and it is because, you know, they didn't choose this.
No.
You know, and
nobody signs up for it.
No. And some of their parents, I mean, there's parents that work 2 jobs and they still cannot keep that roof over their head.
And let's talk about the fact that you mentioned earlier, this dinner is for homeless and near homeless.
Correct.
So sometimes there's people who there is a roof over their head, but there's no Christmas because it's all they can do, working 2 or 3 jobs to just stay above water.
And have a mom and a dad.
Yes.
And they're, you know, the dad's working.
So this is also for people who are just maybe the working poor who just would really need something special to look forward to, celebrate the birth of Jesus as a family, and have that warm feeling of community and family again.
Yeah, and you know what? That is another beautiful thing about having it at the Salvation Army. You know, because of what they do, they won't let the birth of Christ be forgotten in this event.
Right.
You know, because that's what it's really about.
That's who we're celebrating.
And so we're going to have that opportunity to, you know, have that.
Both of these philosophies, and then I'm going to throw something out there, and then I want you to pick up on it and expound. But both philosophies are so the same because doing soup kitchen at Salvation Army, it's so dignified. It is really set up like a restaurant. People are seated. They wait to be seated. They're seated. Dinner is brought to the table. Then a dessert tray comes around, and they get to make their own choice of desserts. They do it so upscale, and some people love to come at the beginning and stay to the very end because there's such fellowship around breaking bread together around that table. And it's something pretty special to see. You share the warmth without really having done that before, have set this up exactly the same way. It is a buffet because it's a Christmas dinner buffet. You can feed a lot more people quickly that way.
Yes.
And it also makes it more maybe expedient for the people. They don't have to wait around to be seated and so forth. They can just find a place and then get up, get a wonderful meal. But talk, if you will, about the importance of maintaining a person's dignity when they're going through a tough time like that.
Dignity is extremely important. There are so many that they feel like that you look at them and you don't even what's the word I'm looking for? You give them no
acknowledgement, or
you disrespect them, and so they're angry because of it, and so they're going to be angry with you automatically. And so when I do this event, at first they're angry, and then I go around and I greet them and try and make sure that I'm not doing this because it makes me feel good. You know, this isn't something that makes me feel good. This is something for you. And I want you to feel good. Because I remember the first year, you know, them saying stuff to me. And I'm like, no, this is for you.
I'm glad you brought that up. Right. Nobody wants to look like someone else's project.
Right.
And that was something else I noticed when we would be serving at the Salvation Army is I sensed that anger, that, hey, I want all white meat. I don't want dark meat.
Right.
All of that particularness, that was saying to me, I'm better than this. And I want you to know that I'm better than this. I might have hit a rough patch, but I am better than this. And do you get that sense as well?
Well, it's very true. And they also, when they're going to pick out clothes and their sneakers and their jackets, they don't, people will donate their old clothes that have holes in them. Well, that's good enough. They should be happy they have that. No. Would you be happy?
No.
So,
why not give our best?
Right. They want to look their best, even though, come on. So they do have dignity. Okay, then there are some that don't have that. They've been homeless their whole life because their families, it's that bridges over poverty type of,
it's generational.
Right. And so, and that's another thing too, is we offer haircuts and the showers because they don't always have that opportunity to shower. But there's a lot of people out there that they do have that dignity and they want respect. And they haven't always been homeless.
Right.
And so they want to dress. There's some that are dressing pretty spiffy out there.
You've gotten to see people come to this, have a wonderful warm meal. Their bellies are full. They've had a terrific time. They get a haircut. They get their nails done. They get to pick out some new clothes. And then you've heard people say, hey, I can go to church tonight.
Yes.
I'm ready. Yes. Talk about that a little bit.
There was this one married couple, and the wife had her hair done. And she had makeup done and her nails done. And this married couple, the husband was like, va-va-va-boom, baby. He's like, come on, honey. And how wonderful. What did that do for their marriage that evening? And yeah, they were going to church and feeling good about going to church because they were going to blend.
Yeah.
And a lot of them want to blend. And that's why they won't go places, because they're not going to blend. And if you're going to Social Security office, a lot of people don't want to go there because they consider the homeless are always there. And I walked in there the other day and there's everybody, all walks of life. Older people are on Social Security, but when you're sitting there next to someone else that hasn't showered in a week, I don't remember where I was going with that, but
But no one wants to stick out as the homeless
right,
person.
And they feel bad too. So it's sit down next to them as much as they may not be pleasant to sit down. Say hello.
Yeah.
Say hello, and that'll make their day. That'll make them feel better. I always look them in the eye and say hello, because we're all people. We're all God's children. Just say hi.
Jesus boiled down the 10 Commandments to 2.
Yep.
And basically, love God with everything you've got and love people as much as you love yourself.
I remember them saying, in the Bible saying, it's easy to love your family, and it's harder to love a stranger. Don't quote me, obviously, but, but yeah, it's easy to love our family. How about you go love that stranger over there, who doesn't have it otherwise?
So you are offering showers and clothing and services as far as haircuts and nails, but we could use some volunteers in those areas still if you know someone specifically that is able to provide that.
Yes, we need someone to please help us with manicures.
Okay,
and
manicures and hair. We can still use
lots
that.
of food.
The other thing that is really fun this year is the collaboration with the Salvation Army and bell ringing.
Oh, yes.
So
that's been so fun.
Give that a little bit of a plug in our final moments.
Oh, yes. Please go to our website, and you could sign up for bell ringing there, too. It's, again, the website is sharethewarmthstark.org, and sign up for bell ringing. I signed my whole organization that I work for. I was like, who's going? And I signed a whole bunch of people up, and Julia over at the Stark, over at Salvation Army is like, thank you so much, Michelle, for arranging this,
Awesome.
Christmas Eve is one of their favorite nights. So if you can't, be one of our volunteers for the event, please, they would love you to volunteer to ring bells that evening. That would be wonderful. That's a wonderful thing for the family to do. My daughter did it when she was little and still talks about it to this day, and she's 22 years old. So that is an awesome way to volunteer your time and to teach your family, your children, to give back. It is. And they're helping. That's a big help. It goes to all of the people that need that help. It's not just going to people's pockets that don't need the help.
Be sure to visit sharethewarmthstark.org and get involved and cook. And we need food. Michelle Byer, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you, Susie, as always, my beautiful friend.
You're the best. You're the best.
No.
Yay.